Okay, good morning to all of you once again. So let us begin the lesson number 8 of science part 2, cell biology, right? And biotechnology. Can you tell me what is cell, students? What is a cell? It is a structural and functional unit of body. Very good, Neha. You are right. Okay. What is a tissue, student? Can you tell me what is meant by tissue? Yes, very good. Again, Neha is answering. Only Neha. What about other students? It is a group of cells. Tissue is made up of cells. Very good. Okay. So there are group of cells which perform certain similar functions, which is called as tissue, right? Can you tell me what all functions they do? Give examples of some tissues. Any one tissue of your body? Okay, nervous contraction. All these answers I'm getting. Okay. Okay, Ria Tiwari is doing Google search. Ria, don't do now. Okay. Muscular tissue, epithelial tissue. Very good, Kushi, Shukla, Deepika. All these students are answering good. Okay, so there are muscular tissues in our body. They perform the function of contraction and extraction, right? Extension, thereby helping us to move from one place to another. Locomotion, right? So you learned about this in your previous class. You have heard about tissues in plants. Do you remember the names of two tissues in plants? Any of you? Which are the two tissues in plants? Yes, Sanskriti, give the answer. Yes, xylem. Very good. And one more is there. What is that? Phloem. Very good. Okay, so xylem and phloem are the plant tissues. Very good, Om Jaiswal. Okay, so these are conducting tissues which can conduct food and water to the plants, right? So today we are learning about the cell biology, where you will learn about how these cells are useful for different purpose. There are commercial users also. Okay, you can preserve the cell, right? And you can use it later on, right? So that all things we are learning in this chapter. So I'm going to share my screen with you, students. Science 2, chapter 8, cell biology and biotechnology. In this chapter, we are learning about cell biology, also called as cytology, stem cells, what are stem cells and what are there, where they are found, what are the different types of stem cells, etc. What is biotechnology and its applications, then important stages in development of agriculture. Okay, how cell biology is useful for agriculture. So these are the main topics which we are going to cover in this chapter, students. Okay, so let us first study what is meant by cell biology. Now, cell biology is nothing but the science which studies the structure of cell, types of cells, which are the organelles present in the cell, how the cells divide, okay, and some other aspects. So anything related to cell, in short, study of a cell is called as cell biology, or you can also call it as cytology. So in the field of human health, you know, there are certain changes taking place, revolutionary changes occurs. Okay, so due to advances of cell biology, there are changes occurring in all the living organisms. So there are certain research institutes which have dedicated their research in cell biology. Like there is National Center for Cell Science, and there is one more in STEM in Bangalore. Okay, so these are the two Indian research institutes which are dedicated their research in what? Cell biology. They are studying about the cells, right? Now, you might have heard about stem cells. What are these stem cells? Now, they are the cells which are present in the body which do special functions. They are found in multicellular organisms, okay, and they give rise to cells of other types. So the zygote which is formed after fertilization of gametes contains mass of cells which are similar cells. They look similar and what we call them as stem cells. Okay, so they carry out certain functions. They give rise to new organisms. Okay, and they are also used to produce new tissues. In laboratory, we can produce new tissues from these stem cells. So we can store these stem cells and they play an important role in wound healing. Okay, if you are suffering from any wound can be healed using these stem cells. Now stem cells comes in different types, right? They can form any type of cell during the further development. The formation of different types of tissues to perform specific and different functions is called differentiation of the stem cells. Once the tissues are formed, what happens to these tissues? Their capacity to differentiate is lost. So later they form cells which are similar to them. And mostly these stem cells, they are found in the umbilical cord, where it is present in the uterus of mother. Okay, they are also found in the blastocyst stage of embryonic development. The first embryo which develops, that is the stage called blastocyst stage. During that time also stem cells are available. Even in the red bone marrow, okay, and in adipose connective tissue of adult human beings. Even in the blood, stem cells are found. So these are the certain places where stem cells are found. Now there is certain stem cell research done. Okay, so the revolutionary event that occurred in biotechnology in stem cell research. Okay, and stem cell research will cause the fundamental changes in the medical science. There are certain changes occurring in medical science because of the research done in this stem cell. Now stem cells are of two types depending upon the source. There are two types of stem cells. They are embryonic stem cells and adult stem cells. Okay. So now what is this embryonic stem cell? Embryo, how it is formed? It is formed by division of zygote. So these embryonic cells will continuously divide. And you know how the cells divide? By mitosis. So during mitosis process, what happens is embryonic cells will continuously divide and these cells are called as stem cells. But by 14th day of conception, cells differentiation will start. Okay. So on the 14th day, what happens? The cells starts to differentiate and this differentiation will form 220 different types of cells like osteocyst. Okay, osteocyst, that is bone cell, hepatocysts, that is liver cells and neurons. So these are certain cells which are formed. Okay, how it is formed? Because of differentiation caused by 220 different types of cells. And these all are formed from stem cells. So stem cells are very important. Embryonic stem cells are very important in the formation of bone cells, liver cells, neurons, nerves, etc. Okay, and before the differentiation, what happens to embryonic cells? They are also called as embryonic stem cells, and these stem cells are primary undifferentiated cells. That means they are having the ability to multiply. They can multiply from one cell to two, two to four, four to six, like that way keep on dividing and multiplying, and that's why they are also called parent cell of all types of human cells. We are having many cells in our body, but stem cells are called as parent cell because they are producing the other cells like bone cells, okay, liver cells, neurons, etc. The property to develop into different types of cells is called as pluripotency. Okay, what is pluripotency? It is nothing but the property of a cell to divide into different types of cells. Underline the word pluripotency. What is pluripotency? Okay, so this property is present only in the stem cells. They can only do this. And stem cells, what they will do, they can be collected well before the beginning of differentiation and cultured with certain biochemical stimuli in laboratory. Okay, we can collect it and you can store it in the laboratory. Okay, how we should do? We should it should be done in the beginning of differentiation. Once it's got differentiated, you cannot use it. Okay, so based on type of stimulus, stem cells will transform themselves into desired types of cells, and later the cells will get converted to tissues, and tissues will get converted to organ. So that's why it is called as embryonic stem cells. Okay, now next is adult stem cell. Adult stem cells which are taken from the body of adult. Okay, so stem cells which are taken from the body of adult or adult body, that are called as adult stem cells. Now for adult cells, following sources are used like red bone marrow, adipose connective tissue, blood, cord blood can also be used immediately after blood, after the birth of the child. Okay, the blood which comes from the cord of the child, that can be taken. Placenta is also rich source of stem cells. So these are the various sources from which these stem cells can be taken. Okay, now there are certain uses of stem cells, like we can do regenerative therapy. Now what is this regenerative therapy? First one is cell therapy. That is, you can replace the dead cells in patients of diabetes. You know, patients in diabetes, they are having certain dead cells that can be replaced by this regenerative therapy. Okay, even in Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease and all, the cells can be replaced using regenerative therapy. The formation of blood cells in patients of anemia, thalassemia, leukemia, cancer, etc. Okay, for them also this regenerative therapy is very much useful. Okay, now next is organ transplantation. Now what is this organ transplantation? You know, in organ failure like kidney, liver, these fails to work. So some tissues can be formed by stem cells and transplanted in a needy patient. I will be showing my PPT where you can see how these organs, which is shown over here, like you can see stem cells which and the other organs like neurons, brain, intestine, liver, heart and bone. Okay, so all these are shown in the PPT. So if less efficient or completely non-working organ is of the body has to be changed, so life of such a patient can be saved, right? So what we can do, we can transplant the kidney. There is kidney transplantation, skin transplantation. Okay, all these are taking place on the patients if there is suitable donor. That means what? There should be somebody who can donate this. Now how they will donate? Okay, so they can give the names in certain hospitals that you are ready to donate your organs after the death, right? So investigations about certain factors are taken, like your blood group will be tested, any diseases are there or not, that will be done, disorders are there or not, your age will be checked. Okay, so all these are done for the donor as well as for the recipient. Okay, and if it is matching, then matching is done before the transplantation, right? Whether it is suitable for the patient or not, that organ is suitable for the patient, that is checked. Okay, and the donor should be very much healthy, then only you can donate your organs. If you are not, if we are unhealthy, we cannot donate our organs. For example, for kidney and skin, live donor can be taken. Okay, for kidney and skin, there is no use of, no need of donor. Donor can donate the organ before their death on. Okay, but liver, heart, eyes, these all how we can donate after the death. So that is shown. Okay, so some of the organs are shown over here. Okay, then you can see here stem cell therapy. Okay, so this is a stem cell therapy which is shown over here. Okay, where the stem cell is used, they can replicate themselves and they can be transformed into other types of cells. Okay, so from one stem cell you are getting, replicate means what? Dividing into two similar types of cells. Okay, and then that cells are again further transformed into different types of cells like liver cells, bone cells, neurons, blood cells, like that it gets divided. Okay, So in this way, you can use this stem cell therapy, right? Now this here, it is shown organs that can be donated. Now you can see in my PPT diagram organs that can be donated. Okay, so these first one is eyes. You can donate your eyes. Then second is from the left side lungs. Then third is liver. Fourth is a bone shown over there. Then you in the right side heart. Then you can see pancreas, then kidney and the skin. So these are certain organs which we can donate to the patients if they are in need, right? Now the body is not of any use after the death, you know. So only traditional customs and rituals are carried out. However, uh, if the organs of deceased are in good condition and functional, they can give it for, they can donate their organs. So such donations, what it will do, it will save the life of other needy patients. Okay, someone can lead a better and healthy life because of you, right, after receiving the donated organ. So due to this progress in science, such donations are possible, right? Previously this were not, people were not aware, but because of this cytology and biotechnology, we came to know that we can donate the organs also. So the awareness was created for to donate. Okay, so donate their organs voluntarily. So organ donation, by organ donation, what we can do, we can save the life of a critical patient who is in need of some organs. Blind persons can again get the vision by eye donation. Okay, and liver, kidney, heart, all this, skin, all can be donated. So by body donation, body can be made available for research in medical studies. Okay, that can also be done. So in this way, organs and body donation can be done. Next is about biotechnology and its application. Now let us see what is biotechnology. The technology that is, that will bring about artificial genetic changes and hybridization in organisms for human welfare, that is called as biotechnology. Okay, so like cytology, biochemistry, molecular biology, and genetic engineering. These are the different branches of science which are included in this biotechnology. Okay, so in the field of agriculture, in the field of pharmacy, certain progress has been taken place because of biotechnology, right? So like there is improvement in the agricultural yield, production of high class variety of crops are available. Like you can see in my PPT certain crops, okay, that is of corn, brinjal, yes, and some crops of cotton, papaya, all these are shown over here. So these are certain commercial applications of biotechnology, right? So certain pharmaceutical experiments are done to produce antibodies and vitamins and hormones like insulin, okay, which will help in taking the support of these biochemical technological principles. Now, which are the areas in biotechnology? Like there is an area called microbiology. Now, what it does, it uses microbial ability to form yogurt from milk and alcohol from molasses. There is a field called biochemistry. Okay, in biochemistry, what is done? By increasing the productivity of the specific cell, it manufactures antibodies and vaccines. Okay, so that is done in biochemistry. Then there is molecular biology. There we are using biomolecules like DNA and proteins. Okay, so in the human welfare, we can use this DNA and proteins for molecular biology. And there is also genetic engineering. We have studied about genetic and engineering last year. Okay, by using this genetic engineering, you can do genetic manipulations in plants as well as animals. That means what? You can make different varieties of plants, varieties of animals, and product of desired qualities can be obtained. For example, genetically modified bacteria, human growth hormone, and insulin. These all can be produced by genetic engineering. Now there is also non-genetic biotechnology. Okay, so here by using entire cell or tissue, non-genetic biotechnology experiments are done. Like in tissue culture, production of hybrid seeds are produced by such method. Okay, now what are the main benefits? Why we need to study about biotechnology? It is really beneficial because it increases the per hectare yield of the crop land. Okay, irrespective of the limitations. In small area, you can have better quality of crops in a large amount. So by development of resistant varieties, the expenses on disease control becomes very less, right? And then there are the fast fruit setting varieties are developed. Okay, you will get fruits and flowers very fast from the plants. And that means what? It increases per annum yield. And you can get variety of crops which can withstand the changing environmental conditions. That means what? If the environmental changes occurs, no problem to these plants. If the temperature rises, water stress, changing fertility of soil, all are created. So these are stress resistant varieties. Okay, so that is about the benefits of biotechnology. Now in commercial application of biotechnology, you are going to study about different what you can say hybrid seeds. Okay, there are certain hybrid seeds, like genes of two different crops are combined to form hybrid seeds of various crops. And for what it is useful? It is useful for fruits. Okay, you can produce variety of fruits. Okay, and then there is genetically modified crops, like crops developed with desired characters by integrating foreign gene, okay, with their genome, and that is called as genetically modified crops. And there is also high yielding variety which will resist from diseases, okay, alkalinity, weeds, or other any stress. Like I told you, there is climatic changes occurring, like very cold climate or very hot climate, drought is there, no water is there. That time also these genetically modified crops can withstand. Like BT cotton is one example. Now BT cotton is one of the crop which is a gene that has been isolated from the bacteria called Bacillus thuringiensis, okay, and integrated into the gene of cotton. So due to this, what happened? The toxin which is fatal for bollworm. There is a worm called bollworm in cotton. So that toxin which is fatal. Fatal means what? Which is very dangerous for this bollworm. That was produced in the leaves and the balls of cotton. Okay. And if bollworm is feeds on leaves, what will happen? The toxin will destroy its alimentary canal. And what will happen to that worm? That worm will die. Okay. That is a benefit. Now, BT brinjal, biotechnologically made brinjal. BT means why the BT name came? It is biotechnology. Okay, BT brinjal. Now, BT brinjal is a variety developed by using the gene isolated from Bacillus thuringiensis. Okay, thuringiensis. So this improved variety of brinjal will kill the pest in same way as the BT cotton does. So that is a use of BT brinjal. Then we are having golden rice. Okay, golden rice, which is a gene synthesizing the vitamin A. Okay, that is beta carotene. It has been introduced in this variety of rice. So if you, as compared to the normal variety, this variety has been developed in 2005 and it contains 23 times more amount of beta carotene. So that is the importance of golden rice. Okay, so there is a gene which produces which vitamin? Vitamin A. What is the other name for that? Beta carotene. Okay. Next is herbicide tolerant plants. Now weeds always, that will affect the growth of crop. So if herbicides are used to destroy these weeds, it affects the main crop too. I hope you all know what is weed. Weed are unwanted plants which are growing with the main plant, right? So it will affect what? The main crop. So due to this, what we can do, herbicide tolerant plant varieties of crops are developed. So due to this, it is possible to selectively destroy the weeds. So only the weeds will get destroyed. Okay. Now we are having biofertilizers like Azolla. As I have shown you in my PPT, Azolla is a biofertilizer. Now, due to the use of this biofertilizer, instead of chemical fertilizers, nitrogen fixation and phosphate solubilization abilities of the plants are improved. Okay, so because of Azolla, the plants can easily fix the nitrogen. Okay, mainly the bacteria like Rhizobium, Azotobacter, Nostoc, Anabaena, and plants like Azolla. They are used as biofertilizers. So last year you might have studied about tissue culture. You remember? Okay. So there we have done this topic. Okay. So genetic improvement of plants has become possible due to tissue culture, and besides those characters inherited to next generation. So that is the benefit of this learning this what you can say uh, tissue culture. Okay. So that is about this, right? Now next we are going to learn about animal husbandry. So students, till now whatever we studied, I hope you all understood very well. Okay, so I stopped my screen here, okay, to just ask you how about genetic engineering and all this plants. Okay, use of cells, stem cells, types of stem cells, where they're preserved, applications, okay, of the cell cytology in this. um, yes, I'm getting the answers using public chat. Everyone have given the reply. Most of the students have given the reply. Okay, thank you students. So I hope everyone has understood this topic. Now next we are moving to the next topic, that is what? Animal husbandry. Okay, it's a very easy topic, animal husbandry. Okay, there are two main methods of animal husbandry. Okay, Om Jaiswal is asking which is more healthier. Okay, genetically or non-genetic. Okay, of course this one. Okay, biotechnologically, genetically made, they are more healthier also. Okay, so I hope Om Jaiswal understood it, right? Any others? Okay, so fine, don't ask in between now. Okay, so because lesson is lengthy and I want to complete it, whatever your doubts, just mention it. In the revision lecture we are surely going to cover it. Okay, fine students. Okay, so animal husbandry, we are going to learn two methods. First of all, insemination and embryo transfer. Second method is embryo transfer. First is insemination. Okay, so by these methods, what is done? The quantity as well as quality of animal products, like you know, milk is a very important product of animal. Meat, wool obtained from the sheep. Okay, so these quality of wool, quality of milk, quality of meat, these all are improved. Okay, improved by this studying this animal husband. Third is that animal varieties that have more strength that can be developed. Okay, so for hard work, like if you want your bullock to work in the farm, they should be more healthier. Okay, for that also this animal husbandry is useful. So next is human health. What is the contribution of biotechnology in the health of human beings? Now biotechnology has helped us in managing our health. It takes into consideration two tasks, like the first is diagnosis of the disease, and the second is treatment of the disease. How we can treat the disease. Okay, so identifying the role of the gene, what is the role of the gene, what type of disease, identifying the person as well as the disease. Diagnosis of diabetes can be done. Okay, diagnosis of heart disease can be done. If you'll go for a blood test, you will come to know if any diseases are there. We can easily find out using this biotechnological method. So can be done even before or the onset of symptoms. In the first stage only you will come to know if you'll do timely checkup of your body. Okay, so that is the importance of biotechnology for human health. Now there are certain diseases like AIDS and dengue. Okay, so these can be diagnosed within few minutes due to what? Due to this biotechnology. Okay, and treatment also can be done at the earliest. If you find out that these diseases are there, treatment can be done at the earliest. So through biotechnology, even medicines which are needed for the treatment that can be manufactured. For example, with the help of bacteria, human insulin gene is incorporated in bacterial genome for this purpose. So various vaccines, various antibiotics are also made in this way. So that is the role of biotechnology in human health. So I hope you understood what is the role of biotechnology in human health, how vaccines are made and various vaccinations are done. There are edible vaccines, okay, which are available, which can be used. Okay, so now you might have heard about transgenic potatoes. Okay, for this I will share my screen. Okay, this is a pic showing transgenic potatoes. Okay, so you can see isolation of desired gene from human pathogen, inject virus in the plant. Okay, then transgenic plant virus is shown, which the virus will infect the pieces of potato leaves. Okay, entire plant is then developed from the leaf piece or containing genes of human pathogen. Okay, and then consumption of raw potatoes helps to develop immunity against that pathogen. So this way we can this way transgenic potatoes are made. You can refer page number 94 of your science 2 textbook where it is shown. Okay, now work on production of edible vaccines is done in progress. It is in progress and presently potatoes are being produced with the help of this biotechnology. Now these potatoes, what we can call them as transgenic potatoes. Okay, so these potatoes will act against bacteria called Vibrio cholerae, Escherichia coli. Okay, all these are bacteria which will be killed by consumption of these raw potatoes. So if we will consume these raw potatoes, it will generate immunity. Immunity against the disease called cholera, immunity against the disease called E. coli, which are bacterial disease. Okay, and these diseases, you will be saved from these diseases. If your immune power is more, these diseases will not attack you. So you can even, you have to use it, you can use it raw, no need to cook and eat. Okay, so biotechnology is useful for production of hormones like insulin, somatotropin and blood clotting factors. Even interferon, this is a group of small size protein molecule which is used for viral disease, for the treatment of viral disease. So these are also produced in the blood. Okay, but however nowadays with the help of this biotechnology, what we are getting, transgenic E. coli, that is used for production of interferon. Okay, next is gene therapy. Now what is gene therapy? In gene therapy is used to treat genetic disorders in somatic cells. Okay, due to biotechnology, like there is phenylketonuria, PKT, which arises due to genetic changes in hepatocytes, which are nothing but liver cells. So it is becoming possible to treat it with what? Gene therapy. This method is called as somatic cell gene therapy. So all the cells except the sperm cells and ova cells in the body, they are called as body cells or somatic cells. Okay, next for cloning it is needed. Okay, what is the next use for cloning? So that means what? Production of replica of any cell or organ or entire organism is called cloning. What is cloning? It is a you can make either a cell or an organ, or the entire organism can be made as it is. Okay, due to cloning. Now there is reproductive cloning. Also there is what you can say therapeutic cloning. Okay, in reproductive cloning, what is done? A clone can be produced by fusion of a nucleus of somatic cell with the enucleated ovum of any body. Thus, there is no need of sperm to produce a new organism. Okay, that is called as reproductive cloning. Whereas in therapeutic cloning, what is done? Stem cells can be derived from the cells which is formed in the laboratory. Okay, artificially you can derive it by the union of somatic cell nucleus with the enucleated egg cell. So various diseases can be treated by using these stem cells. Okay, so similar to cells, genes can also be cloned, and millions of copies of same genes we can produce. So Xerox copies of these genes can be produced by this method. So those can be used for gene therapy and some other purposes also. So we can even control the inheritance of hereditary disease like what you can say diabetes. Okay, there is continuation of generation, enhancing specific tendency. All these are possible due to cloning technique. Okay, next is industrial products, that is white biotechnology. Now what is this white revolution? So till now you have studied about the green revolution, and now what is this white revolution? Now in green revolution, these were the two persons who contributed, that is Dr. M.S. Swaminathan and Dr. Norman Borlaug. Okay, so they have saved they have made improved dwarf varieties of wheat and rice, proper use of fertilizers, pesticides and water management. This has increased the crops production of food grains. Okay, which has saved the hunger of thousands of millions of people. So Dr. Norman Borlaug from USA and Dr. M.S. Swaminathan from India, they have valuable contribution in green revolution. So this is one of the stage in agricultural development, right? So in agricultural development, there are certain stages which helped us in improvement. Like green revolution is one of it, then blue revolution, and then white revolution. Okay, so let us see what is this green revolution. So there are certain improved varieties, methods for harvesting maximum yield from minimum land. Okay, and collectively that is called as green revolution. Okay, so large sector of Indian population, has been saved from starvation, right? Because of this methods. Okay, new methods, new varieties of crops are developed from different by doing different research. Okay, there are several institutes which does research on this work. Okay, in this way they are producing different types of crops which are helping to save the hunger of people. Like there are cash crops, fisheries sectors. Okay, so these all, like Indian Agriculture Research Institute is in New Delhi. Okay, National Citrus Research Institute in Nagpur is there. Then National Pomegranate Research Institute in Solapur. Okay, so all these institutes have helped in bringing this green revolution. Their contribution is really appreciable, right? So in producing new varieties of various crops, that all have been developed from these institutes, which is present in India, New Delhi, various places like New Delhi, Solapur. Okay, all these places are famous for producing improved varieties of fruits and vegetables. So that is called as green revolution. I hope you understood what is green revolution. Okay, now next is white revolution. As a name white, it is related to our dairy products. Now there is cooperative dairy movement that was undertaken with the help of biotechnology. Why they have done? To produce abundant milk and dairy production. So that is called as white revolution. Okay, so at Anand in the state of Gujarat, the cooperative movement was led by Dr. Verghese Kurian. You might have heard about this person. He was the first person, okay, to start this movement. Okay, Amul Doodh. You have heard about Amul. Amul, what is the full form of Amul, you know? Anand Milk Union Limited. Okay, and it was founded by Dr. Verghese Kurian. Okay, and it has now become an international brand, not only in India but outside India also. They are using Amul milk. So the self-sufficiency in dairy business was achieved due to this white revolution. So you can see in the PPT, milk processing and milk products are shown. Okay, so the how the milk is processed and and packed, all these things you can see in that. Okay, so the self-sufficiency in dairy business was achieved, and many experiments were done to improve the quality of the product. New dairy products were made, how to preserve them. All this was studied in this white revolution. Now the third is blue revolution. Now in blue revolution, what is done? Production of various useful aquatic organisms were made. Okay? So with the help of water. That's why it is called as blue revolution. Now you can see in the pic about pisciculture. Okay, pisciculture is nothing but how the fishes are produced. Better variety of fishes can be produced. So in blue revolution is nothing but production of various useful aquatic organisms with the help of water. So in East Asian region, fish species are raised in the farm ponds. So they making small ponds, and their practice is common there in East Asian region. That is called as aquaculture. That means what? Rearing of fish. Okay, aquaculture means all the different species of fishes are made, or you can also call it pisciculture, where you will find the fishes, they are cultured. Okay, and marine organisms, if you are if you are taking care of marine organism, you can call it as mariculture. Okay, rearing fish is called as pisciculture, while culturing other aquatic organisms, like you can do the culture of this one tortoise, or some other aquatic organisms. Okay, so that is called as mariculture. Okay, so cultivation of fishes and prawns are also called as shrimps. Okay, marine organisms and seaweeds, that is practiced in India. So our government always encourages us for aquaculture activities. They launched the program called Neel Kranti Mission of 2000, which was started in 2016, NKM 16. What we call it as NKM 16. Okay, it subsides what 50% to 100% are offered in this case. Subsidies are offered in this case. Okay, so aquaculture and mariculture can be carried along Indian coastline. Okay, freshwater fishes are there like rohu, katla, and marine fish and brackish prawns are also available. Lobster is available, which can be cultured on a large scale. Okay, so that is the importance of blue revolution. I hope you understood what is blue revolution, white revolution, and green revolution. Okay, now next we are moving to the last topic, that is about fertilizers. Okay, what are these fertilizers? Okay, now these fertilizers are of two types: organic fertilizers and chemical fertilizers. So improved water holding capacity is present in organic fertilizer. Soil conservation can be done, right? So due to humus formation, what happens? Upper layer of the soil is formed, and you know essential elements like nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Okay, so these are necessary for the plant to grow. Okay, so these all are easily available due to the activities of what? Earthworm and fungi. Okay, so that is done in the vermiculture. So in the PPT you can see the oil cake as well as the vermiculture. Okay, so here whereas if you're using chemical fertilizers, what will happen? It will decrease the fertility of the soil. It is very poisonous for soil. Okay, and it will contaminate or pollute the environment. So there are even insecticides used. Okay, some of the insecticides are also used, which that means what? Plants have the immunity. Natural immunity is there in plants to fight the infections. But there are certain pests, so why we have to kill them. So insecticides are used on these plants. But what is happening? This is harmful for our environment. Okay, so natural pest control measures are used. such as insectivorous frogs and birds can be used to keep the pest population under control instead of applying insecticides. Okay, so there is but in an attempt to increase the yield, man excessively uses what? Insecticides and pesticides. That is very dangerous. Okay, so insecticides like DDT, malathion, all these are can contaminate the water as well as the soil. Now there is also called organic farming. What is this organic farming? So when chemical fertilizers and pesticides, okay, if they are not used and only local sturdy varieties are cultivated and a natural balance is maintained, then such type of farming is called as organic farming. Okay, where organic products you can get, which is very healthy. Okay, so the use of chemical fertilizers, pesticides, you know, it causes pollution. So what happens? The soil fertility is decreased. Okay, so the insect pest becomes resistant and cause more and more damage. So organic farming will save the environment. Okay, so organic farming is always good, right? So next is about apiculture. You might have heard about apiculture. My next pick is about apiculture. Okay, apiculture is nothing but it is farming of what? Yes, can you tell me, students? Honeybees. Very good. So apiculture is rearing of honeybees. You know, it is honey and wax is necessary. Okay, so honey and wax we can obtain in large scale by this method. So in the practice, artificial hives are placed, and by this practice honey can be extracted without causing any harm to the honeybees and or their hives. Even there is cultivation of some medicinal plants. Okay, there are certain medicinal plants which can be cultivated in Ayurveda. Okay, different medicines and traditionally obtained from the plants because of rich biodiversity. Okay, you can find different herbs in the forest. Okay, medicinal herbs. Okay, so these herbs are good. So they can nowadays what happens, we cannot find forest everywhere, right? So the medicinal plants are becoming rare, herbs are becoming rare, so we can do the cultivation of these herbs, medicinal plants in pots in our house, right? Like tulsi, okay, or some other medicinal plants can be cultivated for um, for your purpose. Like there is a plant called adelsa, okay, which is useful for cough. Okay, so which next is about, that is about cultivation of medicinal plants. Next, let us learn the last topic, that is fruit processing. Now fruit processing can form some products. We can prepare chocolates, juice, jams, jellies. Okay, so since fruits are perishable, okay, agro produce processing is a must. Yes, fruits will not remain for a long duration. Okay, it will easily perish. So you can convert it into jams, jellies, or chocolates, etc. So there are different fruit processing methods: depositing in cold storage, drying, salting, airtight packing, preparing jams or murabbas, okay, condensing, etc. So we are using all these products daily, right? Like in the, you can process the mango. You can see in the PPT how mango can be converted into chocolates, okay, mango chocolates or mango jellies. Okay, so you can make even mango juice, mango jams. All this can be done. Okay, so and then you can store it in an airtight container, right? Mango murabbas are there. So in this way, every fruit will give us, we can store it, we can process the fruit and convert it into some useful products. Okay, so that is about fruit processing. So students, I hope you understood about the fruit processing. Okay, so today in this chapter we started with cytology. What is cytology? What are stem cells? What all researches are done on stem cells? Okay, we have studied the types, two types: embryonic stem cell and adult stem cells, right? Then we went with what? Next we studied about the uses of stem cells. Okay, what is organ transplantation, right? What is organ donation? What is mean by biotechnology? Very good, Neha. What are the benefits of biotechnology? Okay. What is the commercial application of biotechnology? What is mean by animal husbandry? What is the contribution of biotechnology for human health? What are the various vaccines available? Okay. What is gene therapy? Okay. And how environment and biotechnology are connected to each other? What is mean by, what are the important stages of agricultural development, like green revolution, white revolution, and blue revolution? Then we studied about fertilizers, what are insecticides, what is organic farming, what is apiculture, what is fruit processing, and how to cultivate medicinal plants. So that was the end of this chapter. I hope you all understood the chapter very